All right, so I want to talk to you about some of the questions that come up when it comes to some of the hosted options. The big ones that come up are with Squarespace and Wix. So we'll talk about some of the pros and cons, and I'll go over some of the options with those, as well as I wanted to share some of my thoughts on the all-in-one platforms, using those for building our websites, and what maybe would be some better ways of doing that. All right, so the first one we'll talk about is Squarespace. So we're here on their website here, and it's a popular website builder because they do have some great designs. And as mentioned, and if you watched my previous video where we talked about WordPress.org versus WordPress.com, when you use a hosting or hosted option, you don't have to worry about the hosting on these options because, they're taking care of that back end stuff for you. They've got lots of templates, so it's very easy to get a website started with them. You just pretty much point and drag and drop items on your page to create your own layout, and it makes it very easy to do that. They also have an e-commerce plan that allows you to add online, create an online store for your website. So if you've got products, you want to have an inventory, and create, an online store, then you can do that. So, it has a lot of good things going for it. So those are the pros. Now the cons would be, it's limited with the integrations with third-party options to grow your business. One of those would be with the e-commerce plans. E-commerce, if you go up here, it's limited as far as the integrations on that. It only allows Stripe, Apple Pay, and PayPal for payment processing. You cannot add any additional payment gateways with that. And as far as pricing goes, I looked everywhere on this website for pricing, and you cannot find it. And that's because you have to actually click on Get Started. You have to go through all this answer all these questions in order to do that. So I did some research, and as far as the pricing goes, websites start from $12 per month and $18 per month. And the online stores, I'm just going to say, I'm just browsing here. Okay, I'm just browsing. And the online stores start from $26 and $40 per month. Okay. So, that's just what you have, the options that you have to go with. It's beautiful features. It's a great option if you just want to quickly get a website up, or if you just want something that's easy to work with, you don't have to really think about. But again, just know it's hosted, aka rented space. You're going to have limited options. It's going to be, it could be a very pretty option. You'd have what you want there. But once again, if you ever want to move your website, it could be difficult to do that. You're going to have to rebuild it. All right, let's go on to the next one, which is Wix. That is another option that comes up that's very popular, just because you probably see it all the time, like especially when you go on YouTube, right? You get these Wix commercials. So let's talk about it. It's another popular cloud-based hosted platform, aka rented space, as I like to call it. So you don't have to pay for hosting because it's all included. Again, they have hundreds of templates to choose from for your website design. Another drag and drop builder. So, they make it look very sleek and pretty. And they do have a free plan that you can start with, but it's very limited in bandwidth and storage. See, they even have here, create a free website. So, you can start with that. It does not include a domain name. That is something you have to buy yourself. Now, the cons, we'll go into those. If you do get the free website, you are going to have the Wix ads on your website. So just know that. So free doesn't come without cost. Let's say that. So, and you know, just like with Squarespace, if you ever want to move your site, it's going to be complicated to do that. You know, you're going to have to basically rebuild it. Now, as far as cost, the Connect domain plan, it costs $9.16 per month. I think it was a little easier to find prices on this website than it was on Squarespace. So the combo plan was $14 a month, like $14.95 a month, and that will get you a free domain. So that's like for personal use, basically. 3 gig storage space. The unlimited is more for entrepreneurs and freelancers, and that was $18 a month. And then they have a e-commerce plan that was $26.25 a month from when I was researching this. So you can come in here, if that's the way you're thinking of going. You can see all their options here, and you know, see what options they have. But again, you know, it's up to you. But that's again rented space. If you want to go that route, you have less control, less options, and you know, whatever you start with is going to be harder to change down the road. All right, now I know I talked about Kajabi before in, you know, one of my earlier videos, because you know, I had one of my websites with Kajabi before, and you know, I have had experience with Kajabi and have had clients on Kajabi, and it's a great platform for its purpose. But I thought I would take a little time just to talk about using these all-in-one platforms for your website, in addition to using it as a course platform. The pro for these types of platforms, these all-in-one, let's say, platforms, is that they're convenient, right? It's like, hey, let's just put everything all together. You know, it's so convenient. And that's true. But at the same time, the problem with that is that if you decide to move platforms, which happens a lot, or you decide that, you know, this isn't working for me to have my website here, I'd rather have my website separate, it's going to be difficult to then have to like rebuild your website, because here's what happens. If Kajabi, let's say, goes down, guess what? Your website goes down with it. And that's what often happens. So instead of having everything go down together, if Kajabi has an outage of some kind, it's better to have your website separate from Kajabi. And, or, you know, it could be Kajabi, it could be some other platform, let's say Podium, Newsendler, Teachable, whatever. I'm just using Kajabi as the example here. It's best, in my opinion, humble opinion, to have your website on a separate platform, because then, you know, you always have, your website's always going to be up, you know, at least separate, on a separate platform. Also, with these platforms, you have less integration options and less control. You know, you don't have plugins. You know, some people look at plugins as not a good thing, but plugins is really just another word for app. And plugins, in my opinion, is a good thing to have, because it gives you more options for your website. And without that, it gives you less control and less ways of, you know, changing your website up. So it's better to go with an option like Membervault, where you can have, which is designed for your course, that's what the purpose is for. And this is what I ended up doing, is switching my courses to Membervault, because that is what they do. They're focused on courses and engagement and engaging with your users, and you integrate everything else separately. And that's what I love about it. Plus, the price is great, you know, which is what drew me to it. To start, you have forever free plan, capped, you know, at 100 people. But to start, it's great. You know, you can start for like 0 for up to 100 people while you're getting started. Whereas with Kajabi, you know, they initially they show you the cheaper, but that's the annual plan, okay? $119 a month, but that's if you pay annually. But monthly, you're gonna pay $149 a month, and that you're only getting 3 products, 3 pipelines. I mean, yeah, you get landing pages and you get all this stuff, 1 website, okay? And if you have to, so if you're gonna go this route, let me just say this: you better be using all of these things to get your money's worth. Okay, so that's my spiel, and that's my little pep talk on that. So that's why I wanted to show you these different options, you know, with Squarespace, here with Wix, you know, just so you know what you're getting into when you make a decision on what platform you're going to use, whether it be for your website, your course creation platform, yeah, and whatever it might be, because there's a lot of little things involved. There's a lot of costs that add up, and what might be great for and flashy and sounding might not be the best option. You know, it might sound great because it's always, hey, look at us, look at us. It doesn't mean that that's the best option. So just think about these things, and I'd love to know what you think and what you end up deciding. All right, I hope you found this helpful, and I'll see you on the next side.